Hello, I'm Mischievous, and this is last week's SedIT. Yeah, sorry about that, but things have been a little bit hectic around here, and to chop all of the stuff I won't really go into now, even my Windows died a few days ago, so I have to reinstall everything, and well, yeah. But I'm hopefully back now, and I'm going to try and make up for last in this week's tutorials by recording two in a single day. Quality might be a little bit worse than usual, but I can't really figure out how to get Camtasia to record it the way it used to. Anyhow, as you can see, there are some noticeable improvements to our tutorial room. I can't remember when, but I made these furniture unit things. I'm not sure what this is called, but well, you can see it. It's a very simple. You guys should be able to do this by yourselves, and that's why I didn't record it. It's a very simple box. Using the knife tool, I cut out the middle part, and then I used extrude, bevel, and this part up here is just a polygon. You can see a single polygon, copy pasted and hovering slightly over the other polygons. So it's a little bit like a decal. It's not connected, but it creates a pretty nice effect. I also made these, and probably most notably, and the thing I'm going to talk about in this tutorial, I added these round corners to the table to better fit the overall theme. And I also thought that the previous model looked pretty lame. And I'm going to show you guys in this tutorial just how I did these nice round corners in the side of the table. To begin, let's create a new world and copy paste our table in it. So here's our new world, and here is the table. And as you can see, it's a very simple mesh. The corners are just 3 polygons, and there's just a simple box for the bottom feet things. Actually, I'm going to need the other model because originally I modeled the table working off of this table as a base, because I already have the proportions set up, and it's just easier to do it this way. Now let's unshare it, and I'm going to show you guys what I did to make the table. The first thing I did was get rid of the metal supports. I'm going to use the select by surface map. To get rid of them, select the suction cups and also get rid of them. And as a final thing, cut my plane in half, because I want to model only one part of it, and then simply copy paste and mirror with the one part to the other side to increase my modeling speed. I'm going to show you guys how to do that later. Now, there are a few tools in Illustrator that would allow you to create round stuff. One of them is called the Lathe tool. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but anyhow, the Lathe tool allows you to create a rotation around the center of the world grid, and it's kind of limited in that way because the center of rotation is always the center of the grid. I did a little bit of experimenting to see if there's any way to change the center of the rotation, but I don't think that there is. There is a tool called the navigation system, the coordinate system, which technically allows you to select a vertex or polygon around which any rotation or manipulation will happen. So to demonstrate that, let me create a polygon here. Naturally, I rotate the thing around the center of selection, unless I modify the coordinate system and origin of action from my tool panel. But I can also use the coordinate system, also shortcut add the S key, to select a vertex or edge or polygon around which I can rotate. So for example, I selected this vertex, and as you can see, there's this little black circle to tell me where the center is, And now when I rotate it, I rotate around that one. So I can select this polygon, and now I will orbit around it. And I can select the original polygon to move the plane, or if I move the polygon, the reference point remains in the same point in space. So this is a nice way to create, no, I don't know what. Originally I thought that this would work with the Lathe tool, but sadly this is not the case. So to circumvent that, let me just test to make sure. But yeah, to circumvent the fact that I can't use the Lathe tool, there is another tool called the, wait, what is the exact name? Array Radial. Now this allows me to actually change the center of rotation. By default it's in the center, but I can use the rotation center to offset that coordinate. Anyhow, in our case we're going to need the X or Z axis to create a rotation around the Z axis. And now simply move our reference point or point of rotation to fit the angle that we want. Sorry, I'm stalling, but I'm trying to record this in a single take, so you kind of more casual than I usually do these. So here we go. And now what this does is pretty much just copy paste our selected polygon and rotates it around the selected center of rotation. And as you can see, I made my rotation center to be roughly somewhere where this polygon is. Now if I wanted to be really precise, I can copy paste the X offset of the polygon, and now when I go to the Array Radial tool, I can paste that X offset to get a perfect rotation around the plane of the polygon. And using the Y-axis I can control how close the reference point is to my polygon, thus creating a shorter bend. But I'm going to go with something like 0.4 or less. Like so. And I'm going to use just 3 clones to create my precise rotation. Now I have slices and clones. Slices is pretty much the 360 degree divided by 12, and the clones is how much times the polygon is copy pasted. So if I input 12 clones and 12 slices, I'm going to get the exact 360 rotation. And if I reduce my slices to 24, those 12 slices are now just 180 degrees. And if I use 48, they are just the 90-degree section. So there's a mathematical formula, but you guys are going to just have to figure out this by experimenting. So let's just use 12 slices and 3 clones to fit 3 polygons in our bend. And now just drop the tool with the D key, and you can move on to manually creating the polygons of this bend. Okay, so now that we have our bend, it's time to manually create the polygons to fit the gaps between each copied slice. And doing that is really simple. Just make sure you're on the vertex selection mode and select your vertices you want to create a polygon from, and press the P key. So select the vertices and your P key to create a polygon. Now the order in which you select the vertices does matter, so you have to use a counterclockwise direction to create a polygon facing the camera, and a clockwise direction to create a polygon facing away from the camera. So to demonstrate this, counterclockwise faces the camera, and clockwise direction faces away from the camera. And this applies to any any angle in which you view a polygon, you need to select the vertices in a counterclockwise direction. So, and also you have to make sure that it's a continuous selection, because if I use some random order, so like this corner, then the opposite upper one, the bottom one, and then finally this one, I'm going to get this mess of a polygon. And if I select just all of these vertices, again I'm going to get this really messed up polygon, trying to pass through all of these 8 vertices. So just remember counterclockwise the selection direction, and everything is going to be fine. Now creating the bottom ones. If you do end up creating a polygon facing the wrong way, you can simply select it and use Shift and F to flip its normal, or the direction it's facing. And now the same for the edges one. Then once you get the hang of the editor, you will be able to make this relevantly fast, like I am. And now simply delete the polygons that are inside. And there we go. Extrude the bottom one. Or just use the bevel tool, because it's the key for the bevel is just a single button, whereas for the extrude I need to press Ctrl Shift and E. So bevel is just more comfortable to use, even though it's not technically extrusion. And there we go. We created the bevel, and now the table looks really modern now. I'm actually going to stretch these down a bit to make it more stylish. As a final thing, I'm going to create a simple box and move it and stretch it to create the metal leggings that the glass table sits on, because you know, if it's just glass hitting the floor, it might be more easily fragile or break easily, something like so. And just apply my steel surface map to it. And I'm going to use the mirror tool, for which the shortcut I forgot, and I also forgot where to find it. There we go, mirror, Shift and V, because that makes perfect sense. Anyhow, the mirror tool, also found under Add, over here, called Mirror, simply allows you to drag a reference plane, pretty exactly like the knife tool, and it will mirror any selected polygons around it upon when you hit the Enter key, email. So there we go. Now I'm going to finalize the model, select all of the edge polygons here. Then I can do this one by one, or I can use the very nifty tool under Select, called the Band Selection, also Ctrl plus D. And this is, if you remember earlier when I was talking about band UV maps, this is the same thing. If I select the first 2 polygons of a polygon band and use Ctrl and D to select the band, it's going to select all the polygons that are logically connected to them. So if I select this one and this one, the band select will select all the polygons that naturally follow the unwrapped band of polygons. And if I select the vertical ones, I'm going to get the whole loop. So this is a very easy and useful trick for selection, and allows it to work with fast. But you should remember that you need to select 2 polygons of a band, and not mess up all the shortcuts like I just did. You know, I'm not really sure what that does. There we go. Well, that was kind of awkward. Anyhow, now I'm going to select all the polygons using the numpad plus key and the mirror tool. Mirror them around the center of the world to create a mirrored version of my table. Something like so. And there you have it. This is pretty much not so clean explanation of how I made the table. So if I'm taking a bit more time to explain most of these things, as I said, I'm trying to record these in fewer takes because it's just more easier to do it that way, and also right now I don't really have the time to spend gluing 100 million retakes together. There we go. Now I can copy paste this to my other world, and as you can see, it looks pretty well. This is going to, well, now I'm going to end this tutorial. This is Mischievous, and I'm going to see you in the next tutorial, in this week's tutorial that I'm going to record in a few moments. Have fun!